There have been two sessions, very insightful till now. I hope I can meet the bar that they have set. So it's truly an honor to be here today and represent the iconic Ford, a company that has been in the forefront of innovation for more than a century. So So I am part of the Ford Business Solutions, a tech-driven Ford Global Capability Center in India, where we are actually shaping the future of mobility with cutting-edge technology, AI, and data. I also, I'm actually thrilled and little excited to share some news that very recently, as of February 26, 2025, we've formally opened our Tech Innovation Center in Bangalore at Manyata Tech Park. And this marks a milestone for Ford's commitment to technological excellence, innovation, and the talent development and investment that we want to do in India. So with over 25 years in India, and with a global landscape of 12,000 plus employees of dynamic workforce, Ford, and with an unwavering, kind of growth momentum, Ford not only is transforming the future of mobility, but is actually creating a very dynamic ecosystem in terms of just the innovation, the diversity, I would say, and empowerment that is thriving here. The Bangalore and the Chennai tech centers are a great technology hub, and for anybody to be able to build a very powerful, impactful, and an enriching career. So with that, I'm not here today, to speak about either data or cars, but something more fundamental or even larger. So this is the AI revolution, which is actually changing our careers, industry, fundamentally, it's kind of changing the paradigm, everything else. So, and the very fabric of how we work and innovate is changing, right? So before I delve deep, I would like help to project the Slido screen, and I would like to, just ask you a fundamental question in probably if, Anuj, if you could present the Slido here, and if you guys could scan this code, and there are just two questions in terms of how is AI penetrated in your daily lives, or how are you using AI? Just want to understand. You can move to the next slide, if whoever is projecting the Slido, so that we can see the results. If you just click the button there, we are not able to see what's the result coming. Not to the slide, but on the Slido, you need to go in present mode. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's wonderful. A lot of them, if you see, are in the range of 25 to 50%, I would say, predominantly, where AI has influenced or penetrated into our daily lives. Isn't that insightful? Okay, let's go to our next question and see how we are doing. Okay, so I wanted to check, because the genesis of my next few minutes that I would be speaking is fundamentally beyond coding or, beyond technology. How are you thinking about your career in this AI era? And what is the most important crucial skill that you believe is critical in thriving in an AI-driven era? And people have written curiosity, problem solving, prompt engineering, documentation, data sciences. Nice. So with that, back to the presentation. Thank you, everyone, for participating and sharing the insights. This is insightful, and we will set the stage with this two questions. And moving forward, I'll also share. So I just wanted to start with sharing some of the data from Gartner. So it does tell you that, in the 90% of the CEOs are either planning or exploring Gen AI. And this is no longer a hype now, or it's actually a strategic investment. By 2026, 60% of the design work for new mobile apps and websites will be automated. Just changing the way we are thinking and creating software, right? By 2027, 50% of Gen AI models will be very specific to a domain bar industry, which means that they'll become much more impactful and much more specialized. And the absolute game changer is the next one, right? If you see, 15% of the new applications will be automatically generated by AI, which means that completely blurring the lines between human and machine-driven innovation. So keep these data points in mind, and then we see on how AI is revolutionizing multiple industries. So whenever we think about AI, usually the AI is associated with a lot of tech, right? So when we talk about AI, we think about Google, probably ChatGPT, OpenAI, Microsoft, Google's Gemini, or probably Llama, Meta's Llama. But AI is certainly stronger and beyond the Silicon Valley. What that means is AI is really, really reshaping all of the industries, right from healthcare to finance and to automobile industry like Ford. So when it comes to probably, just very quickly a peek, I know all of you know this, but keeping it very light when it comes to healthcare, a lot of proactive diagnostics has already been powered by AI, where it is proven that, very early detection than humans is happening. Using AI and IBM's Watson or Google's DeepMind, all are examples of where there is discovery that these AI can actually analyze medical literature and then provide solutions or treatments very, very tailored for the patients, right? So that's how the landscape is changing there. In finance, it's all about how do you predict market trends? How do you optimize your portfolios? Most importantly, the fraud detection. I think in the first talk, Nidhi spoke about a lot in terms of that space. So certainly the traditional banking is undergoing a paradigm shift. When it comes to automobile, there is a lot of places where we are actually just redefining and reshaping, right from predictive maintenance to doing intelligent manufacturing, to developing personalized car experiences, and very optimizing the complete supply chain process. So, a lot of this world is shifting when it comes to automobile towards connected vehicles that have started speaking to infrastructure, that have been able to very intelligently detect, lessen the traffic congestion, and enhance safety. Thereby, what it actually indicates is AI is no longer that niche tech only, but it has fundamentally become an horizontal force which is reshaping all of the industry and thereby poses a huge opportunity space for us beyond the traditional tech roles, right? So moving to how traditional technology is changing, right? Like fundamentally, the way we were building software has seen a paradigm shift. Like previously, a lot of deterministic systems were being built. What that means is if X, then Y, and a lot of rule-based systems. But now with this generative AI, there is a paradigm shift of being able to learn, adapt, and optimize over time, right? So the overall shift in how we are analyzing, like for example, optimize, if we select the case of supply chain optimization, a lot of AI is able to predict the demand fluctuations, alter our parts delivery, and optimize the overall cost and efficiency of the solution. So Gen AI is certainly transforming on how we are building software. And what this fundamentally also means is that understanding the AI, or at least the foundation of the AI, is no longer optional for us. So everybody, whoever, like, irrespective of whether you are a software professional, data engineer, product manager, business analyst, or operations, I think the ability to be able to understand AI and be able to integrate into the solutions is going to alter the future. There is also a growing demand of AI talent, and if you see that, there's usually a misconception when it comes to AI-related careers, that it is fundamentally pivoted on data scientists or machine learning developers, engineers, and all of that. However, this AI revolution, if you see, is just broadening that scope, because fundamentally the coding part of it is getting automated, and hence we need a lot of product leaders who can actually solve or identify what AI solutions will solve the business problems. We need a lot of ethicists and a lot of compliance experts that can ensure that the AI is unbiased, AI is trustworthy, AI is secured, and AI is responsible. So these are all new roles that are, getting invented. We also require a lot of AI strategists, AI architects who can actually build and deploy responsible AI solutions at scales across the enterprise. So with that, how AI has been changing the technology landscape, coding alone may not solve the puzzle or the skills required for the future. So as we fundamentally shift, the future will enhold people or leaders who can actually connect AI to the real world examples, who can actually bridge the gap between technology and strategy, and also lead responsibly. So today, very high level, these are only seeding thoughts that I would like to place in all of you. So today we'll touch upon like 4 fundamental kind of skills that are very essential for the future. The technical mastery, which is essentially about understanding AI and connecting it to the real world examples. So while AI is very powerful, you could talk about deep learning, you could talk about neural networks, you could talk about generative learning, the large language models, and all of that. But the true differentiator of the AI happens only when you know when and how do you integrate it to the real world problems. For example, take the example of our automobile, like Tesla or self-driving cars, right? Like, it's not all about the perception models there, but it is all about how do you actually integrate all of the vehicle sensor data. You bring all of the traffic data, and you also bring drivers' behaviors that make this fundamental difference. Similarly, when it comes to any of these, the medical era that I was talking about, like how AI is actually powering diagnostics. So it could actually diagnose a lot of medical diseases, but you require to collaborate with doctors and regulatory bodies to make it actionable medical actions. So that's where, when it comes to AI literacy and the marriage of real-world applications, make the difference, and that's how you are supposed to look at the future. Moving on to strategic thinking, it is essentially bridging the technology gap to the business impact. AI is just not a research jargon. Like, it is actually meant to be the business enabler, and that has to be centrifugal to how we operate. What that means is identifying the business use case that has larger impact, and not just because now AI has become such a buzzword. Like, I don't think like a couple of years ago, cloud computing and all of this used to be like buzzword. Now everything, each and everything, like the word, that sentence always starts with AI-driven, AI powered, and all of that. But stepping back, I think it's fundamentally very, very crucial for leaders to think where AI would be most effective, identify that, and then drive. That's how strategic thinking plays a very, very major role in maximizing the business impact. Last but, and the third one, also very, very important, I feel, is the best AI solution becomes ineffective if it is not understood by the decision makers. What that means is, if leadership is not able to understand the value of AI, then it doesn't solve the purpose. And the future would enhold readers who are able to demystify this technical jargon and explain it into the business terminology. As for example, like, instead of telling that probably my loss model reduction by 0.2, I have improved, probably saying that, okay, now we have been able to increase the fraudulent detection rate by 50%, thereby resulting in a 10 million loss saving, is much better articulation of the statement than just telling 0.2% loss saving or something like that. So communication plays a very, very vital role. And fundamental to all of this, I feel, is ethical AI. So while there could be all of, how do you apply AI to real world examples? How do you actually identify the business use cases that are most strongly creating a larger impact? You also need to optimize, continuously optimize, right? Like, there is so much happening within the retail space where AI is predominantly used for marketing, but it also comes with a balance of your own privacy, right? The customers and every individual is so different. We could feel as if our privacy is invaded, and there comes the ethical AI and the responsible AI and being very transparent. So a continuous optimization. So there are, again, 3 cornerstones, I would say, here. Like, fairness is all about removing biases from the AI. Like, how do you, because unless and until the training data is unbiased, it may reinforce discrimination. So how do you ensure that it is unbiased? As an example, if AI, I read some article somewhere saying that AI used in hiring kind of a tool resulted in biases towards women because the model was trained predominantly heavy on the men hiring data. So it could fundamentally shake the premise, very, very important pillar, and this is where it is gaining momentum in terms of newer roles, responsibilities, thinking, and laying the foundation of how we should be thinking for the future. The next is security. Like, again, this is like all of how do you prevent bad actors in actually making the models by itself like a malfunction by introducing defective data. So how is this being done? For example, deep fake could actually steal your identity, create fake identification, and impact your personal security, right? So this is another huge area of misuse and must be fundamental in any design and architecture that we do. And last but not the least, explainable AI, right? Like, transparency on how are you deriving at the decisions has fundamentally been a challenge and also evolving rapidly. What that means is if a bank is rejecting a credit or a loan, why has the decision been made if it is AI-driven is very fundamental to explain, and transparency is a cornerstone of how we should be looking at this. So in this AI revolution, it's not fundamentally about technology, if you would, actually, if you step back and see. It's a lot about people. It's a lot about you by who's driving this change, right? So it's the engineers, it's the innovators, it's the AI leaders who are actually defining the future of AI. And in this journey, just having the technical skills will not take you to the top. And what that means is it's just a portion of the equation. And for you to be able to navigate in this newer AI era, you should be able to break the barriers, take charge of your own narrative, and while doing so, lift others as you rise. So this is fundamental, and just very high-level pointers on what that means into 4, again, different highlights. So evolving from an engineer to a leader is fundamentally, this shift is going to happen. What that means is all of us would resonate, whoever have grown in our careers. We've started with an individual contributor where we were very, very focused on coding or the how aspect of any problem solving. Like, we will be only focused on developing a solution. Example, if we are developing a fraud detection solution, we will be mostly hinged in developing that model, fine-tuning its accuracy, improving its performance. But the moment you wear a leadership hat, you need to zoom back and then look at why you're doing so, how would it impact the customer experiences, what next? So two fundamental questions become extremely important, why and what next? And that's going to be fundamentally shifting because with the co-pilot, and as previous speakers were alluding, like Aarti earlier, on how, Nidhi earlier, sorry, on how co-pilot and a lot of other tools have started changing that particular landscape. So the evolution from just being an individual contributor or an engineer to wearing that leadership mindset of being able to think about the business impact, being able to think about the why statement and what next statement fundamentally will be very, very crucial. The second is about, I touched upon, the communication part, like so you need to own your own narrative. What that means is, however good you may be at building models, or you may be fantastic, but unless and until you're able to communicate the impact of what the solution is aiming to achieve, you will not be seen. So fundamentally, owning the narrative means creating your own brand in this AI era, and either through speaking up, through writing some technology blogs on how you have solved the problem, evangelizing all of that solutions, and being very active in the community is extremely important in nurturing our brand and how we grow in this next-gen era. Bridging, the next one is very close to my heart, being a women leader, and how do we actually close the gender gaps in this era, right? There is a statistics which tells that women occupy only 20% of the AI roles today. So this is not just a statistics, right? I think it's a call to action. It's an eye-opening thing. The reason being that look at it from this particular lens, right? Like, if there are biases in the system, I said it is going to reinforce the discrimination piece. And if there is less diverse thoughts in the AI training, the risk of being overlooked is much higher. So a humble request that, all of us are equally responsible to take action here, not only challenge the biases in the system, but take an active role, intentional role in hiring, in nurturing, in developing, and in sponsoring women to not only code, but to govern and to steer the AI landscape for the future. Last, nothing can be achieved as an individual. So networking and mentorship are, again, cornerstone pillars of how we should navigate in the next gen. And again, there is proven theory that 80% of the career opportunities doesn't come through kind of a job board or anything. It actually comes through known networks. And hence, fundamentally emphasizing on this particular point of how important networking is and how important giving back is in our society as we raise up, taking our fellow colleagues along with us. So we've essentially with the evolution of AI, it is mandatory for us also, we must also evolve, right? Like, it can't be that AI is evolving and we are not evolving. And this is all very basic, right? Like, why am I saying this? The reason being that the rate at which things are changing is very unprecedented. It has never happened before. Again, as per the Gartner forecast, by 2026, 1 in 3 workforce people needs to be reskilled, upskilled. So what that essentially means is, all this while, it was kind of a choice for us in terms of, we always, when you hear leaders, one of the things they will always be emphasizing is continuous learning, the habit of upskilling yourself is no longer a choice. But this, I feel, is an awakening call. I mean, look at it, like 1 in 3 by 2026 has to be upskilled. So this certainly is an awakening call. And in that perspective, AI is, in the second part, right, adaptability is essentially, AI is also shifting the paradigm. It's not, And on the first part, I would also like to say that AI is actually not taking away your jobs. People who will be knowing or the AI will take away, the people who don't know AI, the job. So that's a fundamental thing that we need to remember. And AI is also changing. It's not actually eliminating jobs, but it is transforming the job landscape. What that means is, the entire data science life cycle, right? Like in terms of data collection, in terms of data manipulation, in terms of many of these chores are getting automated, autonomous over a period of time. And the fundamental shift is happening towards reasoning and human intelligence, which plays a major role in identifying the business impact. So the roles are changing, and for us to be aware of this and be actioning in the right opportunity is fundamentally important in terms of pivoting and not just being in our comfort zone of what we had been doing all this while, but catching the train in time is essentially very, very important. And last but not the least, the curiosity factor on how you could, just continuously learn to stay ahead of the curve is extremely important. I heard the bell, so I'll be moving a little bit faster. So again, again, for us to be thinking about the future, such that the AI, we are able to ride on the AI wave than being swept by the AI wave. It's fundamentally, at least, to be aware of, okay, what should we be even looking, how is the world changing? So all of us took the survey and did tell that, ChatGPT has intervened each of our lives, be it a student, be it professional. I have my daughter who's studying the university. She's supposed to be an AI engineer, but she's fundamentally used ChatGPT, multiple versions, very actively in terms of coding or in terms of the research paper. And she was sharing an interesting data point saying that when she was in the first year without ChatGPT, she took probably maybe a couple of weeks to prepare her research paper. And now it's just become a few hours and also modulating it, right? So it's just changing the complete paradigm of, so Gen AI certainly penetrating everybody's life, but fundamentally more in terms of documentation, fundamentally where we see customer services, where we are seeing more of chatbot applications. It's kind of reached a lot of impactful, I would say, results. The next is on the autonomous, right? Like, look at it as a shifting the pivot from AI that predicts to AI that actually acts. So, which means that self-driving cars is a very solid example of autonomous AI, but even in the IT, just the auto-healing systems and AI ops, like it doesn't just predict, it also auto-remediates the systems. Those are all fundamentally evolving and a very opportunistic space to evolve. Last but, on all the things that I had mentioned about ethics, the AI governance is going to be foundational in terms of how do we ensure AI is fair, how do we ensure AI is responsible, trust, and secure. So that's about the wave. And as I come to the conclusion of this, it's been very lightweight, but just want to ensure that AI is shaping the future, but who is shaping AI has to be, very fundamentally thought through. So that's a food for thought. Like, while AI is shaping the future, there is an opportunity for us to decide how the future looks like. And let's not be participants in that journey, but let's lead on how to shape the future. So that's fundamental of what I wanted to speak about, and also end my speech by encouraging women, because women play an indispensable role in the new era. We as women fundamentally bring a very, very unique perspective to the table. We ask different questions. We try to eliminate biases. We challenge the biases in the system. And essentially, doing all of this, we always are driving inclusivity in the front and center, right? So I would encourage, and all of this I have also spoken, but in a nutshell, if we are actually introducing biases in AI, it is going to reinforce the discrimination. As I told, if there is less diverse thoughts, it is going to risk of us being overlooked. And imagine the inputs itself being low, the benefits also will become very low in terms of the inputs. So with that, I know the bell has rung a couple of times, and if I would be happy to take up any questions, but thank you for your patient listening, and wishing you all a rest of the day. Very happy learning here.